This is Eagle Owl, and today we'll be talking about Sidney Brown and him being listed on the PUP list. Also, we got to make that call to Justin Simmons. We have to make the call. Lastly, AJ Brown to the Panthers. News to me. So let's get straight into it. All right, so let's talk about Sidney Brown. So the Eagles officially put out he will be listed on the PUP list. Now, this is before training camp, so that means that anytime during training camp, he can come off that list. But once the season starts, and if he's still on the PUP list, he will not be able to play until week 5. So yeah, had to miss the first 4 weeks. And that's something I didn't want to hear. Sidney Brown, I had high hopes, and I still got high hopes from coming into the season, but last season we played the meaningless game with our starters against the Giants. And of course, it was at MetLife, and he tore his ACL. And I felt bad for him because, Sidney Brown, he loves football. I've been watching him for quite some time. You could go back to my older catalog, and I was saying, like, the Eagles should draft him because he's this, he's that. He fit the mold of Philadelphia. Had a lot of pushback about it. Like, no, we got to go get the guy that went to Detroit because of this, because of that. But overall, it seemed like I was right about Sidney Brown. He's a fan favorite. The way he plays, he's high energy, and his potential is through the roof. Like, he haven't even reached what he can really do, but he showed flashes. Even in the bad system, he showed flashes. But again, unfortunately, he tore his ACL towards the later year of the season. Now it's affecting the new season, at least the beginning of it. And I came up with this. We got to call Justin Simmons. I know we tired of the Justin Simmons talk, but this is getting serious. We might have to call Justin Simmons because I love CJ Gardner-Johnson. And shout out to CJ Gardner-Johnson. Sidebar, he want to bring the green dreads back, the strip dreads, and make it green. And yeah, he should bring it back. But CJ Gardner-Johnson, again, injuries with him. And we know he had the torn pec, came back towards the later year of the season with the Detroit Lions. And he has something similar, like a similar in Philadelphia, or what's a lacerated kidney, something like that. I could be wrong. And he had to miss like 4 or 5 games. So what CJ Gardner-Johnson history is telling you so far, I won't say injury prone, but he has missed time. And look, who's behind CJ Gardner-Johnson? You got Reed Blankenship, right? You bring him up, that means you got to bring another guy up. But Reed Blankenship, we got to be honest, since he been playing with us, he has been dealing with injuries. It's not like he's been the healthiest either. So you got 3 guys. Sidney Brown's already hurt. CJ Gardner-Johnson history is telling you he might miss 3 to 4 games. Reed Blankenship history is telling you he might miss 3 to 4 games as well. And now you come to the Mekhi Gardners. Now you probably got to bring in an emergency Avonte Maddox. Or I like Andre Sam a lot. I've been mentioning his name a lot. Watch out for Andre Sam. But, those are guys that got to, work their way up. Those are not established guys. But if you could bring in a Justin Simmons, if you could bring him in, 1-year deal, cheap deal, see what he can do. I know that's going to push Reed Blankenship out the way, and I'm sorry, but at this point, and we trying to get the ring, got to call Justin Simmons because Justin Simmons is easily the second best. It'd be him and CJ Gardner-Johnson. You'll have Reed Blankenship rotating here and there. Because, again, if Sidney Brown don't come back, he's missing the first 4 weeks. And, again, Reed Blankenship history tell you he might miss some games. CJ Gardner-Johnson history telling you might miss some games. Now, if you don't sign him in another team, now you just looking crazy out there because now we got to bring in, again, unestablished guys. So this season to me is very important. It's very important is establishing the Eagles back, because all I can remember, yeah, we won 11 games of this and that overall, but how the season ended, it was terrible. It was terrible. You want to bring that winning feeling back. You want to get the players back into it, the fans back into it, the coaches, whoever back into it. You want to get this thing rolling, but the only thing that can slow this team down is injuries. Whereas though you got a guy who was mentioned in the honorable mentions with safeties, Justin Simmons, just out there on the market. Yes, I know we pushing a youth movement. We want the team younger, this and that. Justin Simmons, you got to sign him. You have to sign him. But I love our young guys and this and that, but we got to sign Justin Simmons. That's all I got to say about that, man. But let's talk about A.J. Brown, man. A.J. Brown, he is being talked about, and do I call it a trade rumor? I guess so. So somebody, I guess, worked for the Panthers or some type of journalist for some type of network wrote an article, and it stated that the Eagles are going through a rebuild, or we might be going through a rebuild, and Eagles should trade A.J. Brown to the Panthers. First of all, if we were going through a rebuild, I think we would rebuild off of AJ Brown after paying him like $32+ million a year. And then you paid Devontae Smith, then you paid Jalen Hurts. Where's the rebuild? And we won 11 games last year. Oh, they mentioned in the article the collapse or whatever you want to call it. They mentioned that, but I don't see us going through a rebuild. I don't even think we're going through a retool or anything. You don't sign a Saquon Barkley to go through a rebuild. You don't sign a CJ Johnson to go through a rebuild. But out of all the players, you think we will trade AJ Brown? You might have a point if you said Dallas got her, but we're going to trade AJ Brown to the Panthers, and you think the Panthers right now are on the come up to win something right now? Absolutely not. And we're not trading we don't do what the Panthers do. Y'all traded y'all best player, Brian Burns, to the Giants. We don't do that. We pay our guys and they actually stay. Sorry, he just got a contract 2-3 months ago, and we're gonna trade AJ Brown. And then I don't advocate for people to get fired from their job, but I'm like, yo, you should just quit your job, because if you put in out articles like this, it's terrible. It's a terrible article. Now, before he got paid, yeah, I know all that narrative about him getting traded, this and that, even though I knew it was never going to happen. But now, after he got paid, did you do any research on AJ Brown? Did you do any research on the Eagles? Do you think we go get a Kellen Moore to rebuild? We sign these players to rebuild? No, we're not rebuilding at all. We're ready now. Eagles, according to Fox, have a top 5 team. And I think they put them like number 2 behind the 49ers. And I think we got a better roster than the 49ers, but that's debatable. And you think we're rebuilding right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The article is bogus. I mean, nice try for the clickbait. You did get the clickbait, because I did click on it. I'm like, I'm not about to read a 5-6 paragraph article about a rebuild on the Philadelphia Eagles that just don't make any sense. It don't make any sense at all. But it's the off season. Got to get the clicks. Got to get the views. Look, Eagles fans, training camp is Wednesday. I know they don't really practice until Thursday. We will start hearing this talk about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni relationship. But first one here, Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni is fine. Did they have their problems last year? Sure, I heard that, but their relationship is fine. I think it's overblown by the media for the clicks and things like that. So that's far as what I'm hearing. So hopefully we'll stop hearing that talk about guys being traded, about our defense where we collapsed, Nick Sirianni being fired on the hot seat. All that stuff is going to stop very soon, because when week 1 come, Friday against the Packers, I can't wait. I definitely can't wait for that game. And just training camp in general. And we'll just talk about that, see what's going on, see who's coming up. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the right guard matchup. I'm excited for the linebackers. Zach Bond versus Nakobe Dean is a big one. A lot of people not talking about. So that's gonna be fun to watch. Again, the right guard, the linebackers going at it. Do surprising UDFA come up. My surprise guy is Sean Stevens. And yeah, I can't wait for that talk. Not this AJ Brown trade, Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts thing. None of that stuff. But that's all I got for y'all. But hey man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? How do we feel about Sidney Brown? Should we call Justin Simmons? I say yes. AJ Brown, being traded to the Panthers. Absolutely not. I ain't gonna ask you how y'all feel about that. We just know that's not going to happen. But this is Eagle Al. I'm out.